Hey everyone, this is Eric with HDM. I'm just here to go over a couple parts today, and I figured we'd give this a shot and see if you guys like it or don't like it. Hopefully this is just informative and fun, and definitely let me know what you think, and then we can try something different or change it up, doesn't matter. But what I wanted to go over today, and so you guys could see the two parts side by side, and one of the common issues that a lot of people call about is they got oil leaking out of their starter. Well, first off, oil shouldn't be in the starter to begin with. So if it's leaking, then you've got a problem that needs to be solved on why oil entered your starter. A lot of times, maybe a Harley shop overfills the primary because they put in 1.5 quarts of oil, which is standard on a lot of Harley models, so they end up throwing it in these bikes. And obviously that's a little bit too much oil. Baker designed the primary and the transmission, and they call it the DSSC, drop starter slam clutch. They did exactly the first two words. They dropped the starter in the primary, obviously just putting it more in the area of where the oil goes. So it can splash up in there, and obviously once it's sitting up there, then that's more route for it to go back into the starter. So before I worked with HDM, I saw this part and I was rebuilding starters in my garage on my bike, and I said, well, damn it, that's the best option that we've got, in my opinion, for keeping oil out of the starter. He got rid of the oil groove, where basically oil can just sit and then feed back into the starter, so now it's a flat surface. And it's a nice, obviously polished machine billet piece. And the other way that oil can enter the starter is you've got basically the only two ways that oil can get in is you've got an O-ring that sits in the nose, which is the same as on Harleys. And what that does is that O-ring protects the outside bearing of the drive clutch. So when the drive clutch is sitting in the nose, it kind of wraps around it to prevent oil from going back. And the second thing is on the DSSC drive clutches, there's an oil seal where the jack shaft goes through. 9 times out of 10, that's probably the oil seal that's leaking, because that's the one that, as you hit the start button on the motorcycle, the jack shaft engages, it moves out and back in as you start it multiple times. So that seal is obviously can wear based over time and mileage, and there's really no easy way to replace that seal or find one without getting the entire drive clutch. So along with that, you might see a oil splash washer on some of them. We add them to all of our billet noses. Now again, this basically sits inside the nose and just reduces the area that oil can bypass into it. But again, it still has to pass that O-ring, and then or it would still have to pass the O-ring in the nose. So there isn't much a whole tremendous amount of use to this part, in my opinion, but we'll let you guys determine that, because it's not going to protect you from having a leaky jack shaft seal. So the other thing about this machine billet part is that the cast part has been known to break where it bolts onto the inner primary. It's happened to me before. So obviously with this heavy duty precision machine cast part, it's not going to break, and you can, if you wanted to, you could take it off one of the starters that we have, and you can get it from us and bolt it onto another starter, rebuild your old one, and continue to use this billet nose. That'll be good for basically the life of the bike. So obviously, as you can see here, I got a starter with some oil on it, and one of the other things I wanted to mention is there is an O-ring on the outside of the nose, and it's here, and that just protects it from leaking down from the inner primary on the starter. You don't necessarily have if that O-ring needs to replace, you shouldn't see oil going all the way back here necessarily, unless it's after many miles, and obviously it just splashed over there. So I mean, the big thing here is that obviously keeping oil out of the starter in the first place is the most advantageous thing. So I just wanted to throw this out there to you guys. You guys can see the two parts side by side. Obviously, the machine billet starter is a little bit more expensive than the cast one. We do sell both, but figured we'll make this fun and try to be as informative as possible. Let you guys determine which route you guys want to take, and just trying to keep these bikes moving. And let me know what you think about the video, and then we'll see if we can do any more. And maybe I'll get a better camera someday that I can move around a little bit. But anyways, enjoy your time, and hopefully you've been spending some time working on your bike, getting it ready for some warm weather. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.